Let's still talk a bit about the budget, issues around the budget and how much Ghana intends to spend at this championship. Now, we don't know. We don't know that for a fact. But I can tell you about how much we've expended over the period from 2012 until the last Afcon. On your screens now is how much Ghana as a nation has expended or spent on these various Nations Cup tournaments. First one, in 2012, we were again at the Nations Cup, and tell you what, we spent $8 million. We spent some $8 million on how much indeed we spent at the Nations Cup. And indeed, we finished in that tournament position that was not too impressive anyway for us, but we were in the semifinals. We spent that amount of money in 2012. 2013, we spent again $8 million at the Afcon. We finished fourth. So at least, again, semi-final appearance for Ghana, we finished fourth in 2013. 2015, it was as though the figures were, just the same figures throughout. Again, $8 million. This time, though, we finished second in the competition. That's the third one. $8 million again, we finished second. So it means we went all the way to the grand finale, 2015. The fourth one, the next one, 2017, we came down a bit. We spent $3.4 million. But again, we went all the way to the last four and finished fourth. So you ask yourself, how come we spent less? 3.4, 2017, finishing fourth. But the 2 years previous, we spent 8 million times two that amount almost and finished second. Same stage though, semi-finals, third and fourth place game, final game. The following year, 2019, that's the infamous Black Stars Egypt Yabanoniaba. You recall that Yabanoniaba. Ghana spent $4.5 million. Where do we end up? Second round. Yet we spent $4.5 million. Let me just draw your mind to this. Look at the 2017 figure we spent. We finished fourth. We spent $3.4 million. 2 years on, 2019, we were in the second round. It means first group stage, the next round we were knocked out. I recall by Tunisia. Yet we spent more than we spent the 2 years previous. We spent $4.5 million. Second round, we exited. 2 years on again, 2021. We were there last time around in Cameroon. We were in our group. We could not win a single game. Morocco, we drew. I think we even lost against Morocco. Then we drew against Gabon. And then again, we lost to Comoros. Yet still, we spent $2.9 million to exit the group stage at that Nations Cup the last time around. And in the last two editions, you heard Jerome indicate, in the last two editions, we were not told how much we're going to spend before the tournament. They only came back after the tournament to give us a breakdown of how much they spent. So those figures on your screens, you saw on your screens, gives you an idea of how much Ghana has been spending at these championships. 2012, 13, and 15, it was round figures, $8 million. 17, firm, company will operate in this particular way and manner. You are embarked on a project. You will not come out with a budget that you intend to spend on that project, but rather you will go to do the project, and when you come back, you come and present how much it is you spent. Financials, is that how it's done? For those who are good and know issues of finances and how it's budgeting and finance and accounting and how we handle things in there. Do you go spend without a budget being provided or being made known? You go spend and afterwards you come and tell us how much you spent? Is that how it's done? And for 2 editions, as a nation, our government, our military thought it was cool and good enough for us to operate in this way and manner. So they will go, spend all the money, come back, sit down, take their time, put together figures, and take it to Parliament and say this is how much we spent at the tournament, when there was no prior allocations made and indeed approved. How do we run as a nation this way? This is a country that is supposed to be impoverished. And so must be prudent in how they spend their money. But we feel and think that this is the best way we can go about things. You saw the last two figures in our previous competitions and how much we spent, even though we were knocked out so early in the competitions. Group stage, the last time round, yet we spent over $4 million. How? Group stage, second round, and yet we spent over $4 million. How do you justify some of these spendings? And we do so because before we go for the tournament, there was no budgetary allocation made. It's pretty much like saying, give me a blank check, let me go spend. When I finish spending, I'll come back and give you a breakdown. I'll say this is how much I spent after having spent the monies for whatever it is I use the monies for. We can't continue this way. And even though we are behind our Black Stars team and we want them to go out there and achieve and support, they'll get our support for them to go out there and achieve and win for us. We cannot also forget about the fact that we need to get things and do things the right way in this country. So why not come out with how much we intend to spend at this championship before they even move? Than to allow these things go the way we do. We allow them to rather go before we look at getting things announced after having come back. For me, it is just not good enough. When you do some of these things, you allow Ghanaians not to, from their own will and whole heart, support a team. You heard them. The players have been speaking. The coach has been speaking. Even the ministry president as well has said it. They need our support. But how do we support a cause when there are so many or too many question marks on that cause? It is not as though we don't need to know. We must know as a nation. It is your money. It is my money. As you will say, it's the taxpayers' money being used to work magic for the Black Stars. It's our national team. So why can't we be prudent in our spending and let us know how much we intend to spend, but to tell us confidently that as a nation, it is right for us to go spend without anybody knowing how much we intend to spend. Then we'll come back and say, we spent A, B, C, and D. In this house, I'm sure if anybody attempts that, from Bola through all the heads, they won't agree to that because that's not how it is done. That is not how it is done. We can't continue this way. So we will not stop. We will not stop talking about these things. Even though it's a few days to the tournament, we will not stop talking about these things until the right things are done. Do it and do it well. They say, if it must be done, it must be done and done well. What will it cost if you sit down as a nation, if at the ministry level, at the FA level, and I'm sure the FA have done their bit, they must have come through with a budget. So why can't we come on and openly tell Ghanaians this is how much we want to spend on our team at the tournament? Even the tournament, you know that CAF takes a large chunk of the cost when the team arrives in the country where the tournament is being held. There's a number of persons that if you submit your team, a number of persons that CAF takes care of whilst the tournament is ongoing and they are there. So their expenses as in feeding, hotel, as in accommodation, will not be on the state or Ghana, but will be borne by CAF. And FIFA if it's a World Cup. So these breakdowns should not be difficult for anybody to want to do. If it's not out of mischief, why would anybody want to keep these things a secret? Why must we keep it a secret? And the practice, like you said, when did it begin? Yes, the last 3 editions. Because hitherto, it was always made known. And that's how it is done. But mysteriously, now it is not the case. Now we must rather go do whatever we want to go and do there. When we come back, like I said, we'll sit, take pen and paper. Okay, so we have sent this amount so far. Let's see what we can do. Check and balances. Let's cross each other. How like this? So today, my point is very clear. We are with our Black Stars. We support our Black Stars, and we're hoping and praying that they go out there and get it done. But it must be